Hi and welcome to another Craig's World. My name's Craig. Welcome to What Is My Madness. Today we're going to be fixing mouse. I've already got the pattern part. As I told you, we already got these on order, which we mark at the top, which fits like so. And as you might have noticed from the other videos, if I put it there, I've had to make this. Just this tiny little section, just so, if you can see on that side, where are we? There, just so it's got a lip. It's all solid, all welded on. So this is my procedure. It might not be the right procedure, but this is the way I do it. We're just going to get this welded on. So, and then we can finish doing the sills, and this is this side done, and then we can finish that repair, which we've got. Which that is part of the sill, which will go on there. Just cut that out, pop that on. Easy as that. Right, I'll put in a time lapse and we'll go from there. Thank you. Right, okay, so you're just sitting on that time lapse of, this is how I do it. I got taught many years ago how to do this, and a fundamental principle of welding. If you see, I've put all these holes along. I've even put holes along here and holes along there. Now what happens is, I'm going to do the same, but I'm going to put holes along here, holes down here, just on that section, because what we are going to do, a scrap piece of steel, it's one of that come off this, you can get it out your stores or whichever way you want to do it. I'm going to take the paper off first. Then what happens is, we're going to put that, we're going to seat that in and behind up there. And then what we do, we puddle weld, so we fill in these gaps with weld. And then the same along here with the piece. And what happens then is, once this piece now is fitted perfect, and that's where it will be. Do you see how it can still do that? That's one thing you don't want. What you do want is, if once this piece of metal is trimmed and shaped properly, and we then get that in up there, we then clamp that to it and we weld to that. It's also again puddle welded on here, which is to that, and then the line going across there. And as I've showed you before in previous videos, I'll do a close-up of this. I'll clamp this on and I'll show you. One of the things that a very old timer taught me this, and it's done me a lot of my life. Now, that's this piece. Now what you do is, when you get your metal to it, and like I said, you can see how it bows in and out, but do you see there where there is no gap? Right there where there's no gap, okay, and there's a big gap here. Whoop, big gap there. What you want to do is, you need to have a gap all the way along it, because when you weld, if you weld that there where it's flush, you're only going to weld to the top. You need that gap in it, so when you weld, the weld goes in. So when you sand off, it's then got a structure to hold to. If you do that and just weld on the top, and then when you sand off, there's nothing holding that piece of metal on. So that's the procedure. You're going to see it again on time lapse, where you'll see me welding it all around, and even to the backside, as I mentioned. I will then puddle weld, and then on the side here, same again, where I put them holes with that big piece of metal, it clamps over, and then we'll clamp it together, and then they will get puddle welded so it's fit into this. So this is that corner nearly done, and obviously we're going to do this on this side, and I'm glad I don't have to get any of these sills. I've got to make the underneath one, but that's superficial. So I'm going to carry on with this procedure. Okay, so I've just tacked it on, and this is the whole reason why I'm showing you. This is what I mean. If you see that gap now, which is there, I'll do it with these. So that gap which is there now, if it was butted up, I know there's a little tiny piece there, it's butted up, which I've got it there. I then fill in there, because don't forget that plate's behind it, because we puddle welded with these. So you can, if you wish, put other holes in this, and you can puddle it together, and it's a big stitch. But when you're welding, you've got to be very careful with it, especially with these. If you weld there, then weld there, then weld there, let it cool down, then do the same and go across, so that way the metal will not warp. And it's same on that side. You can see now I've puddle welded all that in, so you can hear it's absolutely solid, and it doesn't move. Now all I've got to do is just basically just stitch now all the way along the bottom, tack them over. That's done. Then we'll concentrate on this part, cut that out, weld that in. I'll show you how to do that, and then the next procedure is we paddle it all off with your paddle discs, and then we'll just give it a quick skim, and we can fix these. And then that's, once it's done, it's virtually, once that bit's done, it's virtually ready to be wrapped, this corner, and fix these bits. So I'll put you back on a time lapse and you can see me weld it. Okay, so we've done that corner piece, which that's all solid now. That's just ready for a quick little skim, and then we can forget about that. Now, this section, this is probably one of the easiest bits, because in that quarter panel that I got, I got this section. I just got that. I didn't need the entire bit, I just needed this. So the easiest way to do this section is I'm going to give it a scuff to see where the rust goes to. I'm going to make a little box, and then I'm going to cut that box out, and then put the box there cut out onto this as a template, cut round it, straight back on it. This one is so simple, it's daft. And I won't put this on a time lapse for a minute so you can see what I mean. Marley. So you can now see on that, it's not all the way up into here. I really don't need it. I just need to cut there and there. Now, because of this, I'm literally just going to go as I mentioned before, just make a box. Now, we don't need to take, I'm going to take that out. Well, you could theoretically, it doesn't make no difference to be fair. So I've got plenty in there. So I'm going to take that box out, that section out that I've just drew. Okay, you can bring it up so you can see it. You don't really need to be that one. You can put that on an angle if you wish. In fairness, I may do. Makes no difference. So that's what I'm going to cut out, and then what I do with that, we will just put that directly on top of the arch we've got. Cut it out, stick it back on, and then do the same procedure as we just did with this corner. So I'm just going to put you on a time lapse for this while I cut it, and we'll show you then. Okay, so as you can see, I have now welded and I have paddled it down. I can still see the shape of my arch, which is a good thing. So I have got a few little high spots and low spots, and now is the time for filling. Same on this side. On this, I can treat this, and then put a little bit onto it. Now this section, same again. All the little low spots in dark, put a little skim over it, put a little skim down the sides, and then once I get to that side, I can fix that. So that's where we're up to. I will put you on another lapse for this one. Okay guys, so now you can see that was the arch with all the crust and the rust on it. I said that would be the easiest one to do. If I just come down a little bit, you can still see, yes, it's got to fix that a little bit. Sand a bit more over there, but a little bit of sanding just there. And that's why you put a bit of spray in it, because you can then see where you need to adjust. But that's how easy it is to replace part of the arches. And there is the corner sill, the outer sill I should say. I still have a little bit of work to do there, a bit more, but as you can see, I've got a little fix that, but that's now all in. And if I can get inside, it's all in. All I've got to do now is respray all that black with the sealant, which I'll do that another time. It's getting a bit late, but I've not quite finished this. You might see a few little holes in the filler. I've just got to keep sanding them down. I might even just put a little bit of skim on it and then resand it down. But that is how you replace one of the bottom quarter panels on an mx5. And I've got the other side to do. So basically up to there now, once I finish the sills just running along that little corner, all that now can be wrapped blue. The inside can be painted the black, and that'll probably be one of the next bits we get to. And yeah, so it's coming along nicely now. And thank you for watching again, guys. Stay safe, and I hope you enjoyed.